Day 2 has just kicked off at the IWF World Cup here in sunny Phuket, Thailand. And it's exactly kind of what we wanted to see. Obviously yesterday with the 73s we got a taste of Rahmat and Rizki. Today we've got to get a taste, proverbially, of Shi Zhiyong. And he looks good. I mean, he was in sort of classic Shi Zhiyong twitchy state, I guess. He was, one of the first things he did was he jerked or snatched a 50 kilo barbell straight into his head. Which, you know, you'd think from a two-time Olympic champion just wouldn't happen because they'd have such a routine bar path, but he's just so all over the place and hyped up. So he did that was kind of funny. Built up in the snatch to, well, he was at 130 and then he was switching platforms as well, which is kind of classic Shi Zhiyong. He moves over to Tian Tao's platform, snatches 140, then he snatches 150. And that's pretty good. I mean, the only thing I'm really going by is that when he went to Saudi for the first time, like his first return competition, he snatched 140 on the first day, and then on day 2 he snatched 160. Here he's done the 140. We'll see what he does in the coming days in the snatch, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does 160 again at least. The 150 was very good. He then did snatch pulls up to 210, I think, which again, 210 is a very big snatch pull for him. When I first got to interview him back in 2019, he said that his best snatch deadlift was 250, I think, which is crazy. Might have even been 255, but still 210. It looked pretty strong. We then had the two Chinese 89s on separate platforms, of course. I mean, they have different coaches, but just, it looks like it's getting tense within Team China. We saw this with the 61 separating as well, but we had Tian Tao built up to 160 kilos in the snatch. He looked pretty good, actually. Looked very strong. Obviously, he's got the tape for his shoulder because he's had a bit of surgery since we last saw him compete back at the Asian Games, which he won, of course. Li Dayin, he was training, moving all around on his platform. He'd face this way, he'd do a 180, face the other way, built up in the snatch. I don't think he went heavy, maybe 130 today. And then some snatch deadlifts at 240, turned 90 degrees. He did like the old Kakishvili, 90 degrees on the platform, facing directly to Liu Huanhua, the 102, who was looking bigger than I think we've ever seen him. Because obviously when I've seen him before, even in Doha, he hadn't filled out properly at 102. He looks leaner now, like he's gained a few more kilos of muscle mass, very jacked and very good. He doubled 150 in the snatch, then went up to 170 and he hit it for 3 singles, which is like, I mean, that's pretty good. Lesman did 2 singles yesterday. They were power-ish. He did 3 singles full. His best snatch in competition, of course, 185. He did that at the Asian Games weighing like 100.8, which is just insane. So if he's in that kind of shape, it's going to be game over for the other 102s because he can clean and jerk in a way that someone like Lesman can't. The 261s. Li Bin versus Chen Li-jun. Chen Li-jun, Olympic champion. He's cut down to this category slowly over the last 6 months. And I think he's only got to beat Li Bin's 314, I think is the winning total so far in that category. So if he can get 315, he becomes the #1 Chinese male in the 61s and he'll get the selection. Unless Li Bin beats it. They both look good. I mean, Li Bin snatched 120, maybe 125 actually. I think we saw Chen Li-jun do 120, 125 too, so very exciting from those two. Over on the women's side, they didn't go quite so heavy, but we still saw some decent lifts. I mean, Guifang, who I think is just the most savage 59, she's so good. She did I saw some deadlifts up to 155. I'm not sure if she snatched or clean and jerked, but I mean, 155 pulls, pretty strong. She's sort of like a high 130s clean and jerker. Pei Jinyi, the teammate who we don't know what kind of shape she's in. I mean, in 2022 she became world champion at 64, weighing like 59.6, and they've just sort of held her back and let Guifang pull ahead. They might release her. I mean, she might just go off and move ahead and become the Olympian. I kind of doubt it, but it's definitely possible. Wang Zhuyu snatched up to 120 kilos. She's obviously in a fight against Liang Xiaomei, who didn't turn up till later. I didn't see Liang Xiaomei do anything. But 120 is very strong, but of course she's got to beat 284. She needs 285, and that's just, I think, gone are the days for the Olympic champion to hit those sorts of numbers. We also saw Li Wenwen, who is in an interesting position, of course, because she got injured at the at the World Championships. We saw her kind of rehabbing in Doha. She didn't turn up to the Asian Champs. She muscle snatched, I think, around 90, 95 here. It might have even been 100. But just playing it easy. So we're going to find out what kind of shape she's in and whether she's going to be easily beating the South Koreans, whether the South Koreans are going to push her, maybe beat her, or if she doesn't even compete at all. It's going to be on that kind of continuum. So this meet is obviously important for her because she's potentially the easiest Olympic gold medal for any athlete in any sport for China, if she's in shape. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And then North Korea turned up, the whole team, and you know, sometimes when you see North Korea in an empty training hall, you can't not just get all the cameras out and film them. Actually, we only got 2 cameras out, but nonetheless we did film them. And they were, you know, you look around at that North Korean team and you just think, you know, there's maybe 5 or 6 world record holders here, and you don't necessarily even know the names of them all because they've only been back for a little bit. So, you know, I can do a few of them. Like we had Ri Song Chong, the 81. He's not a world record holder, but he went up to, I think, 165 power clean and jerk, then did some very heavy snatch pulls at like 225. Ri Suk, she, I think, clean and jerk 135. She looks very her knee, like she's hobbling off after every single lift. Ri Sung Gim, the 49, she just went light. I guess she's lifting, competing on Monday, so she can't go too heavy. She's only 2 days out. And then the other athletes whose names I just can't retain at the moment pushed it. I mean, the 2 guys, I think they're 61s. They were kind of working up to like that 130 snatch range, 150. I think we even saw a 170 clean and jerk at one point. Some of the other women, again, in that 125-ish range. We saw a 100 kilo snatch as well. The 76 front squatting 160, and then of course some accessories, heavy pulls, squats. So they all lifted. They all went relatively heavy, whether it was 80% to 95% on the lift, and then some heavy pulls, squats, accessories. So good to see North Korea. I'm sure some of them will go particularly heavy over the coming days. But for now, it's just nice to see them. Of course, they're here with one goal really, which is beat China, be the #1 ranked team in the world. And it's going to be tough because China's in the best shape they've been in a while. So where they destroy China at the Asian Games, I'm not so sure. It's going to be a battle here. Of course, they can't go to the Olympics because they haven't been in the qualification period for long enough. But they still want to embarrass China and want to make China feel like, you know, second tier when they do go to the Olympics, knowing that they're only winning golds because North Korea's not here. So that's making things particularly exciting, which is cool. We'll go back in, see who turns up, but I mean, that might disappear. The competition starts today, by the way, by the time you're watching this. It's the men's 55A and the women's 45A, I believe. And then tomorrow, we got to talk about this one, the women's 49s. Okay, Hu Jihui versus Zhang Huihua. It's a big China off. We've got Julia Imperio. She needs to get into the top 10, along with a bunch of others, obviously. Ri Sung-gum, the North Korean, it's a mad one. I mean, you know, because you've seen the video. I did the video, released it a couple weeks ago, about the 49. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be insane. Links down below. You can watch it live and on demand. Weightliftinghouse.tv with commentary from me and Max Ater. Max is somewhere around. I haven't really seen much of him. He's just, you know, doing his thing. But yeah, make sure you watch it. We'll catch you there.